are once a year, but not 250 missions.
That community is so broad support. I mean, we've passed county ordinances that specifically like verify, you know, the land, the rural nature of the land is really important, right, to the whole community. So it's not just, you know, us. We're just a few people.
We're only a couple people, but as you see, we all know each other.
Yeah. Well, it's a small town.
It's a small town.
There's about 6,000.
And there was just a month ago, there was a much smaller proposal made for something that could have maybe even been positive, and the town went into uproar.
It's like a storm or something.
A scenic byway.
A scenic byway. Okay, and that could have been a maybe positive or not positive thing. However,
So what you have right now is like.
but what the thing is, I'm just trying to tell you is that turned into a bloodbath in our little town. So you
I mean,
can
if you
only
guys want to
imagine
see
what
it
would happen with
united,
this.
There's a lot of momentum coming off of the success, so not letting that happen. We're like already, you know, we're already riled up.
And this would be very, very impactful. Incredible.
It's primarily what we're doing on the north, not necessarily PTA. Is there something that you have concerns with regards to air traffic route in?
That too. For example, if you go there tomorrow, well, if you waited another month, you could go down and you could throw a rock and hit a humpback whale from the coast. I'm not exaggerating. And if you start flying over there with rotor wash and stuff like that, that could impact migratory behavior.
From about down to the coast, about up to where we live up here, it's just called the Billionaires Club. So I mean, it's like these people come out here, you get all these, you know, people that want to be waiting for the world. They don't want to have all this kind of helicopters and it's not just our town. Once the word spreads, the people that have the big funds have this kind of investment. They're wanting more air traffic. We're already having in terms of air traffic, and that's an issue already.
I mean, in many aspects, Honolulu, Oahu has already been, you know, obviously way impacted by places, etc. But the Big Island has remained a rural place, and in this place, everybody who lives on this island lives here because of that, and would like to see that remain that way. And we do what we can to protect our towns and our land and the cultural aspects, because there are many cultural aspects, especially like was already mentioned, the areas in which you're speaking of.
But I was curious, you did mention the route from like Kaneohe to PTA. What would be your route of travel for that?
Pretty much the same as it is now. It would be the same, and obviously we're concerned with noise and that kind of thing.
Right.
So we vary our altitudes to make sure that we do the best maximum, and then obviously not flying over residential areas to the max extent possible. Now, the thing is, when you come into certain areas, you may be routed a different direction based upon other air traffic that's out there. So, like you're saying, with a lot of commercial traffic that's in here as well as with the tourist traffic, and there's sometimes we can't do it the way we want to. But for the most part, it's almost a direct shot coming in from the place.
Me personally, I'm not as concerned about that as more of our little community and our
It's
airport.
more of what anything that you'd see as an increase.
Did someone mention that there was going to be some increased helicopters?
Oh, there would be a major increase.
Yes.
Where'd you hear that from?
Where did you hear that
It was
from?
our-
Read it in the paper.
We have a local paper.
West Hawaii today.
Okay.
There is a 250 mission increase that would then use Upolu Airport as a base.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned our airport, 250 something missions, and that, you know, right now that airport, on a good week, 1 or 2 aircraft may land there.
Oh, what about the bombings? Constant bombing.
It is being looked at.
Not a staging
But it's being slated for a 23% increase, 250 missions through that base, through the airport, our airport of the North End.
I think there needs to be some
I mean, have you guys been there? I mean, there's no one stationed at the airport. I mean, it's, you know.
An air operation, just so you understand, is a helicopter coming in, landing, and taking over.
Right.
Yeah, 2 hours.
That's a worst case speaking of. We're speaking about that. We don't want those airplanes and helicopters landing
And just for clarity,
at our airport at Upolu.
Which would bring no
What is
benefit
the
just to
concern
land
about
off.
helicopters landing at the airport?
Well, what we
we
just covered a lot. Let's go over it again.
I just want to get clarity about another thing. You said one op is a landing and a takeoff is another op. Does that include how many vehicles? If there's 12 helicopters and they all land at one time, is that one op? That's 12 ops.
So you're saying there's going to be...
Our helicopters don't typically fly in flights of more than 2 at a time.
2 at a time. Okay. So if we just divided.
I'm sorry.
So if 2 helicopters came in and basically landed and then took off, that's 4 operations.
Okay. How are they carrying?
So if we were to do the math and we were to say that that report in the paper was correct, 250 ops.
That might be a max.
Okay, but let's just say it's correct. And then it's a landing and a takeoff, so that's 125 times this would occur at the max. And
It's once every 3 days.
you could theoretically do it once every 3 days. So to fit those numbers, not maybe that fits your schedule, but, or maybe you do it 20 times on a weekend or something. What you didn't have the privilege of hearing, what's this gentleman's name? Lieutenant Colonel Isaacs heard everything we said for about 20 minutes, but there's a historical site located there, 2 of them, the birthplace of Command Man, less than a mile away.
Right. And those are in the EIS, right?
Right. The EIS page 570 states something that's definitely not accurate. I'm sure Forrest probably already told you about that,
You did mention something.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look up that myself, just for the record. But anyway, so you have these historic sites. You have a Heiau where thousands of people were killed by ancient Hawaiians. You have a pristine coastline, number one, that has whales within 100 yards of the coastline. I know this because I go there every morning. Have you been there? I go there. You haven't been there? I encourage you to go there. I go there every morning with my daughter.
I wish I could. I don't live here.
And I walk there every morning.
Well, you're on island now. Do you have tomorrow morning free?
Yes, you guys should come visit our camp.
We are going to be traveling to the other side of the island so we can present this information to the other side as well. And hear their input.
If you guys could get up a little early, because I know you can do that well, come on up there and go down to Upolu Airport. I'll meet you there at 5:36, and I'll take you on a walk around the airport. I'll take you down to the coastline, and I'll show you how pristine this place is. I go there every day with my daughters and my dog. Micah sees me drive down there. I wave to him on my way past the coffee shop, and I walk down there, and I look at whales, and I listen to the calm and the quiet, and it's magic. And that's why I spent my life savings to buy a house that's now worth shit.
Because
Well, not because of the Marines, because of the Federal Reserve. By the way, that is who you work for. Find that out.
Well, my company is still worth a lot, and I'm right.
Anyway, we won't go.
That's a whole other topic.
That's another topic.
I wonder how would security change? Like how would access to the airport and like access to the coastline be affected?
Good question.
You know, because a lot of people.
So I go to walk my dog and you guys are landing that morning. What happens?
What about night land?
You're not going to walk your
I'd have
dog.
to look at the EIS and see what it mentions.
Huh.
If it's not mentioned, and if that's a matter of concern, that's one of the reasons why we're having this meeting right now, so that that kind of question can be brought up. And if there isn't someone here who can give you a definite answer, then it can be addressed in the final version of the EIS.
So it would be in here.
No, that's called the environmental impact study.
Yeah, the environmental impact statement is rather large, but it's intended to be inclusive as much as possible. And it's based on the input that was provided last year during the scoping meetings. So if there wasn't someone who brought up a specific issue during the scoping meetings and it wasn't addressed by anyone during a study, that's
Can you
one of the reasons
clarify
why
what
we're
a
doing this right now.
scoping meeting is for us? 'Cause did anyone hear about a scoping meeting a year ago?
Yes. Well, it wasn't here held right in this location. It was held.
Nowhere near our community.
Kind of like this meeting. Kind of like this meeting. Why is this meeting happening in this?
Where's the signs on the road?
If we
Where's
had-
the signs
on the road? Simple question. Where's the signs on the road for the public to know? I didn't even know where this place
Newspaper
was.
ads,
I didn't either until I
anything.
looked up the
I put up a sign, you guys took it down.
Megan,